Hey hockey fans, Alyssa Hope here. This is the fourth part of the series in which I'm actually going to start with Minnesota because I left them out regretfully. This time I actually put them in the list, but somehow I skipped over them, and Nashville as well. So I'm sorry if they're your team, but I'm definitely going to start with them now to make up for it. I'm going to keep trying to post videos as regularly as possible, but I started school this week, so I may not have as much time, but I'm going to try to just continuously post as much as I can. Anyways, enough about me. Let's get this thing started. Okay, on to Minnesota. The team was officially named the Wild, with the unveiling occurring in the Aldrich Center in the suburb of Maplewood in January of 1998. The new name was introduced to everyone with the song Born to Be Wild by Steppenwolf while playing over the arena speaker system. Second fact, the logo depicts a forest landscape with a silhouette of a wild animal. The eye of the wild animal is the North Star in tribute to the Minnesota Stars, as well as the state's motto, the Star of the North. I just put the English translation in here because my French isn't that great, so I just left it at that. Questions surrounding the identity of the animal actually has depicted much debate, but at the same time, it's been ranked as one of the best logos by logo enthusiasts. After making the playoffs in their third year as a team, the Wild became the first Minnesota pro team to reach the playoffs in that short amount of time. Fourth fact is, the Wild actually rotated their captaincy on a monthly basis and among several different players on the team, under coach Jacques Lemaire. After Todd Richards became head coach during the 2009-2010 season, Mikko Koivu then became the last rotating captain and had the captaincy 3 different times until becoming permanently captain in the 2008-2009 season. And by doing so, he became the franchise's first permanent captain, officially on October 20th of 2009. The Wild have only one currently retired jersey hanging in the Raptors, but interestingly enough, it's not of a player. It doesn't have a player's number on it. Actually, it has the number 1 on it instead, and it's up there for the fans, who helped them sell out every game during their first 3.5 seasons. Now on to Nashville. Like many teams, the franchise held a vote in order to choose their name, and 3 candidates were taken, including Fury, Attack, and Ice Tigers. But obviously none of these stuck, as their owner at the time submitted his own admission, which was the Predators. The name stuck, and Nashville has been known as the Predators ever since. Second fact, this choice actually came about though due to the logo being unveiled beforehand, which was a saber-toothed cat. And to make it even more interesting, the reasoning behind this was the logo was in reference to a partial Smilodon skeleton that was actually found beneath downtown Nashville in 1971 during the construction of the first American National Bank, which is now the UBS Tower. Fact number 3. Last season was the season of many firsts for the team. Besides earning their first conference title, the Predators swept the Blackhawks in 4 games on the way. This was the first time that an 8th seed had swept a top seed in the conference in NHL history, as well as the first time there has been a sweep by an 8th seed against a top seed in a best-of-7 playoff series in the history of all American professional sports. That's a pretty big deal. Fourth fact is, fans of the Nashville Predators have actually kind of adopted their own tradition, which is, in a way, a spin-off of the Detroit Red Wings octopus throw. Instead of throwing octopi on the ice, they throw catfish. And the Tennessean newspaper of Nashville cites the first sighting of the catfish throw as being on October 30th of 2003. As Bridgestone is considered the loudest arena in all of the NHL, as well as the fans being the loudest, they're known for their variety of various chants taunting players of the opposing team, particularly the goalie. I went to a regular season game actually last year while the Pens were in town playing the Preds, and I was very quick to learn this. They're loud, they don't really care who's next to them or who's listening, but examples of this taunting include, after every Predator's goal, the crowd chanting in unison, "You suck," or "It's all your fault," followed by the goalie's name. These cheers are said to have originated from a tradition at college football games, but some of them derive from traditions that have been held by fans of pre-NHL teams, including the Nashville Dixie Flyers, Nashville South Stars, Nashville Nighthawks, and the Nashville Knights. Next on the list is Philadelphia. It was Ed Snyder's sister Phyllis who named the team when she suggested Flyers on a return trip from a Broadway play. Ed knew that it would immediately become a big hit as it captured the speed of the game, as well as the two words Philadelphia and Flyers went along well together. On August 1966, team name was officially announced. Second fact, the Flyers were a team that was part of the 1967 NHL expansion, and among names that were considered for it initially were Quakers, the Ramblers, and Liberty Bells. First two were names of previous Philadelphia hockey teams, so this didn't really work out. Liberty Bells were considered, but it was later passed over because it was also the name of a local racetrack. Fact number 3, the Flyers were the first expansion team in the post-Original Six era to win the Stanley Cup, which they won in the 1973-74 season, and then again the following season of 74 and 75. Fourth fact, the Flyers' all-time point percentage of 57.6 is the second best in the NHL, only behind the Montreal Canadiens, which have a percentage of 59. Last fact, additionally, the Flyers have the most appearances in the conference finals of all 24 expansion teams. They have 16 appearances in which they've won half of those. They are second behind the St. Louis Blues for the most playoff appearances out of all expansion teams. Now on to my favorite team, the Pittsburgh Penguins. The franchise was founded in 1967 as one of the first expansion teams during the league's expansion from the original 6 to 12 teams. Second fact, a contest was held in order to choose the name where 700 of 26,000 entries came in with the same name, Penguins, which was also inspired by the fact that the team played in the igloo, which seemed pretty fitting for the name Penguin. The logo was chosen that had the penguin in front of a triangle, which symbolized the golden triangle of Pittsburgh. Third fact is, while you may be familiar with the current Penguins mascot Iceberg, which debuted in the 1993-94 season, Penguin Pete was actually the first Penguins mascot. He was an Ecuadorian-born penguin that was on loan from the Pittsburgh Zoo. Penguins officials even had special skates made for him from CCM, and a local student from the University of Pittsburgh taught Pete how to ice skate. I can only imagine how cute that would be watching. Too bad he's gone. Unfortunately, after 7 appearances, Pete died later of pneumonia. And there was another penguin brought in that succeeded him called Repeat, but it was over and done with in the same season, so it didn't really stick. But they still tried to keep Pete's memory as they sent him to a local taxidermist. And if you don't know what that means, they basically stuffed his body in order to preserve him and had him on display later in the Penguins team offices in the arena. After several anonymous callers, since people probably thought this was a little bit weird having a stuffed penguin in the office, he was removed from the lobby according to then Penguins owner Jack McGregor. The team has went through various color schemes and logos ever since their birth in 1967, and their original colors weren't black and gold as we know today. Instead, they were powder blue, navy, and white. The team adopted their current color scheme in January of 1980 when they wanted to have the same colors as the Pittsburgh Pirates, the baseball team, and the Pittsburgh Steelers, the city's football team. However, the change did not go without controversy, as the Boston Bruins protested that they had their own rights to the black and gold colors themselves. But the Penguins said that black and gold had been the official colors of the city of Pittsburgh for a long time. Thus, they were able to secure permission to wear the colors black and gold. And next, we're going to go a little bit west to St. Louis. St. Louis Blues actually got their name from the W.C. Handy song titled St. Louis Blues. Second fact for the Blues is, the Blues have a tradition of live organ music. Jeremy Boyer, the blues organist, plays a Glenn Miller arrangement of W.C. Handy's St. Louis Blues in its entirety before games and a short-term version at the end of every period, followed by When the Saints Go Marching In. Boyer also plays the latter song on the organ every time the Blues score, with the fans singing blues in place of Saints. Third fact for the Blues. The Blues is the oldest NHL team to have not have won a Stanley Cup, but they have had their fair share of Stanley Cup final appearances, appearing in the 1968 finals, 69, and 70. The Blues were one of the last teams to add a goal horn, doing so during the 92-93 season at the St. Louis Arena. And while they may not have a Stanley Cup, the St. Louis Blues are actually one of the most successful teams as far as attendance is concerned. In 2009 and 2010, despite not even having a playoff year, Blues had an average attendance of 98.6 total capacity and 18,883 attendees, selling out 34 of its 40 home games, which placed 7th in overall NHL attendance. And in 2009-2011 season, the team actually sold out for every home game. And now we're going to go even farther out west to San Jose. After previously owning the Minnesota North Stars, on May 5th of 1990, Gordon and George Grund were officially awarded a new team for the Bay Area that was based in San Jose. The Sharks were founded in 1991 and were the first NHL franchise to be based in the San Francisco Bay Area, since the California Golden Seals relocated to Cleveland in 1976. Third fact is, the Sharks had one of their best seasons ever considerably during the 2006-2007 season and entered it as being the youngest team in average age as well as the biggest team in average weight. But even though they didn't have much experience, the team still raced out to a 27-0 start, which is the best in franchise history. Fact number 4. I've always enjoyed this fact unless, of course, they end up scoring on my team and then I'm not so fond of it. But during every Sharks power play in San Jose, before the power play starts, the Jaws theme song is played, while fans do the chomp, which involves extending arms in front and moving them up and down to form a chomping jaw, which would be done, I guess, kind of like this, and then, you know, obviously if you had somebody else beside you, you do it together, but I think that's the basis of it. Last fact, the Sharks mascot was first introduced during the 92-93 season in a game versing the New York Rangers. The then unnamed mascot emerged from a Zamboni during an intermission, and a name a mascot test began that night, with the winning name being S.J. Sharkey being announced on April 15th of 1992, and he has been known affectionately as just that ever since. And the final team on this part of the series is the Tampa Bay Lightning. The team name Lightning is after the city of Tampa being the lightning capital of North America. Tampa is a Calusa Indian referring to the sticks of fire bolts or lightning. When the Amalie Arena first closed in 1996 and then called the Ice Palace, an outdoor art sculpture was placed. It's still located in the plaza commemorating sticks of fire or lightning bolts. Sticks of Fire is also the name of the Lightning's fan base. Second fact is, during the Lightning's few seasons, they actually went without a home arena. Games were held in a small fairground, exposition hall, and an indoor baseball stadium across the bay in St. Petersburg. Fact number 3. In the 1996-97 season, the Lightning finally got a true arena of their own, as they opened Ice Palace on October the 20th by beating the New York Rangers and Wayne Gretzky 5-3 in front of a sold-out crowd of 19,500. However, the Lightning would go on that season to be a major disappointment, as they finished in 6th place, the record of 32, 40, and 10. Fact number 4. Canadian native Manon, I'm going to call her Manon R, but I'm still going to put her name up here, so if anyone is curious on how it's spelled or how you say it, I'm going to put it over here, but obviously I can't pronounce certain words right, so I'm not even going to try with this one, but I'm going to call her Manon R. Anyways, she would go on to be the NHL's first goalie while playing for the Tampa Bay Lightning in an exhibition game. Her opportunity came when she played in one period during a game versing the St. Louis Blues. She would go on to block 9 of 7 shots and even get signed to the Lightning's premier minor league club that was based in Atlanta. This made her the first woman to play in any professional sports league in all of North America, and no other female has played on any NHL team since. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and if you did enjoy it, just give me a thumbs up to let me know. Please subscribe if you haven't, and my social media links will be down below, so add me on Snapchat, Twitter, Patreon if you can, and please stay tuned because I'm going to be doing the rest of the team in part 5, which I know I said 4 parts, but Obviously, I'm going to have to do 5. It was a little bit more extensive than I thought it would be, but it's kind of a good thing as, you know, more content for you guys. So just stay tuned for part 5, and I hope you enjoy this.